Sawadika from
Hi,
Thailand.
Sawadika. Oh my God, I still have to get the right intonation to pronounce that word. Hi, Hi, Antonia. How are you? How have you
I'm good.
been?
I'm very good, actually. Thank you so much. How are you? How's everything in the Philippines?
Still the same. We still
Mm.
haven't actually beaten the curve.
Oh no.
COVID-19 cases are still rising. I'm so envious of what's happening there in Thailand. You guys are almost COVID free, and
Yeah.
your country is about to open
Yeah, yeah.
its international airports. So yeah, cases are still rising, and um, I don't. And at some point, this has to end.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about anymore. I hardly read up the news. So yeah, it's so amazing. Thailand was able to successfully contain it. You know,
Yeah. We're
there's something
all
about
pretty shocked
Thais.
also.
Yeah, you guys are so disciplined. You know, you guys really obey your government there. Everything that your government has been telling you, you all follow it to the letter.
Yeah,
So,
we do our
yeah.
best in
So,
the unit. Yeah.
yeah. So, uh, you know, you're halfway through your reign. You were crowned last December, and now it's July.
Yeah.
So so many things. We only know little things about you. Like you were crowned. You were the first woman to be Miss Supranational from your country. Other than that, we hardly know anything about you. So I would like to, because this is a perfect opportunity for us to really get to know you at a better light. And
Yes.
so I would like to ask, was it really hard for you to grow? Was it really hard growing up in Thailand after relocating from Denmark? Because you're half Thai and half Danish, right? So,
Yeah.
because I'm sure the culture and views are totally opposite.
Yeah, definitely. I actually grew up so I was born in Thailand. But after I was born, we were moving around a lot, and I actually did most of my schooling in Vietnam. Um, but coming back to Thailand was I mean, it's almost like coming home, which was nice, but there was a lot of adjusting that I needed to do in terms of mindset. Like sometimes you can't really think like a Western, like you were born in Europe. So it was a lot of adjusting, I'd say, but all in like a positive way to kind of get along with everyone. But I'm very grateful that, I got to know my culture more in terms of like the people as well and like their way of thinking.
Being mixed race, you have the ability to represent either Thailand or Denmark. So I would like to ask, what made you decide to represent Thailand in an international pageant instead of Denmark?
Honestly, I felt like I don't want to say I'm more Thai or I'm more Danish because I do feel that I am like the best of both worlds. Like I do get an equal amount of both cultures from both my parents, but I do feel that I'm able to represent Thailand more because of the fact that I've lived in Thailand, so I feel like my mindset is more Thai and I speak the language, and in order to kind of like be accepted as a representative of your country, you kind of need to have these basic like checks filled. And I had never lived in Denmark, maybe for a year, and I don't speak Danish, so I didn't feel like I would be the best representation or best representative for Denmark. And of course, I wanted to do my best and be the best that our country had to offer. So that's why.
But before joining Miss Supranational, you were a budding model there in Thailand. In fact, I did a little research about you. You joined the first season of The Face,
Yes.
reality modeling show there in Thailand. So when did you realize you wanted to become a model? Because apart from, of course, getting yourself busy in school, as you were taking up advertising uh, course in Stanford University.
Yeah. When I was doing the face, I was still in high school in Vietnam. And I didn't really know if modeling was what I wanted to do, but I kind of got like a glimpse of it because I did a lot of advertisements when I was a kid, and I just felt like maybe I wanted to try it out, so I just gave it a go. But at that time, I felt like maybe school was something I should focus more on, and then if I still have an interest in modeling, I can pursue it after I graduate high school.
Mhm. So you were still based in Vietnam then, but you had to go to Thailand to do the face.
Yeah, every Friday
Yeah.
evening I was the flight out to Thailand, and then every Monday morning I was in the first flight out to Vietnam and straight to school every week.
So how was it like? How were you
I
able to
think as
balance
a
both?
16-year-old, it was very stressful, especially because I was doing the IB curriculum. So there was a lot of pressure for school and having to focus on, being in a competition and getting my grades like good. It was very stressful for me at the time. So I'm actually glad that I got out when I did, because I don't think I would have focused as much or put as much attention and energy into school if I had stayed longer.
Hmm. Was the face really your first major exposure to the world of modeling and fashion?
I think it was my first like real exposure because I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know that this is what it took, or this is what we have to do to, be in the industry. So I would say it's definitely my first real encounter.
Where how did you take the whole results during the phase? How were you able to get through it and still, push through with your modeling career?
After the competition or during the competition?
No, after the competition, like you already got eliminated, right? So instead of being disheartened, how did you still go on and still, still move on and really followed your dreams of becoming a successful model in Thailand?
Mm. Um, well, after I got out of the show, I didn't really continue modeling because I wanted to focus on my school. So I finished my high school. I took a gap year after I graduated to, figure out what I wanted to do, um, and kind of just take a moment to figure out where I wanted to go. And then I did my first year of university in Spain. And then I decided to move back to Bangkok. And then that was when I realized that maybe, okay, that's when I wanted to do modeling, because I felt like it, I wouldn't say it's easy to do it because I know for a fact that it's not. But there were a lot of people asking me to try it out. So when the opportunity came, I just kind of tried my best.
So for modeling, how did you get into pageantry?
Actually, I didn't really know that much about pageantry until maybe 2 years ago. Like, I knew about Miss Universe, that it was like a big beauty pageant. I didn't know there was like Miss World, Miss International, Miss Supranational, or anything, or any other pageant. I didn't even follow like who was the winner. I just kind of knew about it. So then one day, my friend, she called me and she was like, "Hey, Anne, do you want to try Miss Supranational?" And I was like, "What's Miss Supranational?" And she explained to me what it was, and I did my research, and then I was like, "Okay, this actually seems pretty cool. Like how the organization portrays themselves seems like something that I want to try out." So it was kind of a random sort of opportunity that came up, and I'm somebody who, if a unique experience or opportunity comes, I will try and see how it will go. So it wasn't initially like my plan to join a beauty pageant. It was really by coincidence.
what were your plans then? After coming out from that show, what was your plan before
My
joining?
plan was
Was it,
actually
of
just
course, you said you
to,
did.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of finish school, my bachelor, and then maybe continue to a master's, work like a normal person. I didn't really have like any goal of being in the modeling or entertainment industry at all.
Okay, so of course, you won Miss Supranational Thailand on your first try, and eventually won the international pageant months after. So, a lot of people are still convincing you, now that you're a title holder, a lot of people are still convincing you to join other pageants, right?
Yeah,
Other international pageants. How do you feel you are still getting that kind of reaction from a lot of Thai pageant fans?
yeah. I get it really often, and I'm really grateful that they want me to go further and keep representing our country in the best way. But I feel like me myself, because I didn't initially plan to join a beauty pageant, and Miss Supranational also being one of the big five beauty pageants. Very happy with my success as being a title holder. And I think that right now, the most important thing for me to focus on is my reign as Miss Supranational and how I want to make the most of it. So I'm not really focused on any pageants as of right now.
Which is a good thing. If I were you, for sure, you would want to focus your time and energy
Yeah.
in making the Miss Supra pageant brand be strong, grow stronger, and more powerful in the world of pageantry, right? So yeah, I think Miss Supranational is really, a good, it's a growing pageant
Yeah,
from
yeah, for
since
sure.
since its inception 12 years ago. It has been growing steadily. It has been getting popular. So yeah, there's really a huge potential for Miss Supranational to really even go bigger, you know, in the near
Yeah.
future. So yeah. So I think it's yeah I I get that you want to focus more on making the brand grow in other parts of the world, right? So
Yeah.
I noticed ever since you won Miss Supranational, I noticed that you are very guarded with your privacy. You take your privacy very seriously, and you're really
Yeah.
not much active on social media. So when you won Miss Supranational Thailand, you became a public figure whose life was really under a microscope right away. So did you have a hard time adjusting to your new fame?
At the beginning, I did because I was always being told, like now that you are in the public eye, you have to be more aware of what you're doing, whether it's online or in public. Um, and I kind of just told myself that as a public figure, you don't really have much privacy because everyone is always looking into you or into your life. And I'm grateful that people, they want to look at what I'm doing and everything about me. Um, but I also feel like, especially because of that, privacy is really important because it's something that I think we take for granted, and something that we don't usually get so much. So yeah, like now I try to post as much as I can. I really try. But even before, I wasn't posting so much to the point where I was told that, okay, Anne, you need to start posting more so people can be updated with what you're doing. But yeah, I'm really sorry to everyone that I'm not posting enough. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do at least one post a day, I swear.
Yeah, I do get something from your very quiet life, you suddenly thrust into the limelight. So you really have to make a lot of adjustments along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a question here. There's a question here. During your stint in Miss Supranational, we noticed that you were very close with our delegate Resham Saeed. How did the friendship
Yes.
start?
Honestly, it started with a very sarcastic joke that I made at the airport towards her. Like, it wasn't a negative joke, it was kind of like a sneaky, sarcastic comment to a joke that she made. And it really was a risk for me because I didn't really know her at the time and I didn't know how her reaction was going to be. So I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't turn out bad. And then she looked at me. I don't remember what I said, but she looked at me. She's like, ooh, I like you. And then since that day, we were inseparable. Everything we did together, if we were late, we were late together. If everything, we were just attached like this. And even until today, we're still talking. We're still really good friends. And I'm really grateful, honestly. She's been such like a great influence to me, such an inspiration. She's so smart, so beautiful, and just like everything she does, I'm always so proud to say like, yes, I know her. She's like my good friend. So thank you for sending her to Supra because if it wasn't for you guys, then
You would not have met her.
I would not have Bray.
Apart from your first meeting at the airport, what were your other memorable experiences with her?
Honestly, every day was a different memory with her. Like, we were always making really funny jokes, and usually jokes that nobody understands because our humor is really dry. And if you don't know our personalities, you would think that we were not joking when we actually were. So some people kind of got the wrong idea sometimes. So we had to be really careful with our jokes. But another, oh my gosh, I can't even like pick one. I can't even think of one right now because the one thing I can remember is the video we made of us in the mirror
Oh
where we were
yeah,
like
I
pushing
saw
each other.
that. That was so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually really, really funny, and we took it as a joke, but I think some people took it a little bit seriously, so it
Yeah,
needed some
yeah,
back.
literally.
But in the end, it was a joke, and like it's okay. And there was also one time during like the bowling that was filmed, the bowling session. Yeah, that was a lot of fun because she was bowling in her heels. The miss that she is. She won't take off her shoes. Actually, I think at the end she took off her shoes, but she was very queenly with her bowling. Yeah, it was really funny. She's so much fun.
Yeah. I really like the fact that even after the pageant is over, you still maintain your close friendship or ties with her. I even watched your Instagram live with her where you guys were poking fun at each other. She was making you eat
Yeah.
spicy Korean noodles.
Oh my god, that was so spicy.
It was
And
so funny.
actually, yeah, in Poland, I brought like a bucket, not a bucket, like a pack of roasted chilies, and she ate all of it like it tasted like nothing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you eat really
Oh,
spicy. And then when she came to Thailand, we had this like fruit and you dip it in this like chili sauce. And she went to the lady and she asked for more chili when it was already spicy. And I was like, and she was just laughing and like it was nothing for her. Yeah.
There's a question from someone here. His name is James Declar. He's asking, I watched a story from Ray and you do something to call your friends. Can you do it? Ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah. So our group, like our close group was Miss of course Miss Philippines, Miss New Zealand and Miss Australia. And there was one day where we had a picture taken and it was the four of us and somebody called us like the flamingo gang because our necks looked really long in that photo. And then Miss New Zealand commented more like ostriches. So they started calling us the ostrich gang. And then I asked Miss Australia, what sound do you do when you call ostriches? Or like, so she said, it's ooh. So we were like, okay, let's try something. So now every time we couldn't find each other in a crowd, one of us would go like ooh, and then the rest of us would put our arm up like this so that we could identify who where they were in the crowd, and then they would run towards the person calling. But yeah, that's pretty
Mm,
much where it originated from. And I think if you watch like the finale of the Miss Super competition,
yeah.
you can see all of us kind of put our arms up at the end. Yeah,
Ah, you guys really have a close bond. Resham is really such a character.
yeah, it was really
Y-
like a
y-
sisterhood.
Yeah. So, as we all know, it was a golden year for the country for your country in beauty pageants last year. You won Miss Supranational, then Bint also won Miss International, and Pasay was in the top five of Miss Universe pageant last year. So, I'm just wondering, was there a pressure to have a crown on your head coming into the finals night? Because because Miss International had just won right before you. So there some sort of pressure for you to kind of duplicate her feat.
Um, there wasn't any pressure from the fans or from anyone back home, but I kind of put the pressure on myself because I wanted to make my country proud, of course, like everyone else. But having Miss International win before me, I felt like all eyes were on me for the next one. Um, so I kind of had to really push myself to not only meet my own standards, but also meet the standards of people back home. But I didn't feel any like negative energy or anything. It was really like a push factor for me because she also like she video called me, and she was sending me like love and support, and I really felt like you know grateful because she was the one who really knew what I was going through, and it really helped me. She was like, "There's no pressure, just have fun and everything." And I think just having knowing that and knowing that the people back home were cheering for me rather than pressuring me was also like a driving force for when I was competing.
That's nice, That's nice to hear. When you won, your countrymen were so happy to see you crowned as their first ever Miss Supranational, and we were looking forward to the year ahead given this historic moment that was given to you. So, with all the travels being suspended at the moment, how are you going to make a meaningful year?
Honestly, yeah, it's difficult because there was a lot of plans to travel and do work abroad with different organizations, and of course crowning the supranationals of each country. But having the pandemic has really reminded me that we need to take a second to step back and appreciate even the littlest things in our life. Yes, okay, I want a beauty pageant, but I have to remember to stay grounded and stay humble and remind myself every day that there are people struggling even to make ends meet. So with that in mind, I try to do a lot of charity work and a lot of work with giving back to the community because the COVID situation. A lot of people are really struggling to even put food on the table and support their families. So I wanted to be like really involved in these activities instead of being at home and complaining about the pandemic. I wanted to be out there helping as much as I can. So that's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah, use your platform to reach out to more people. I noticed that Miss Supranational is really not into advocacies of its candidates. And now that you are the reigning queen of Miss Supranational, I noticed that you're doing quite something different, incorporating your advocacy uh, in the pageant. So, what would you also like to promote? What is something that you would also like to for people to hear about you when it comes to espousing some issues in the world right now?
I would say, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things I could say and like a lot of things that everyone could say, but the one thing that really, I feel very passionate about is education, because I feel like a lot of issues that are happening in today's world and in our society today is based on how we educate each other and how we teach younger generations to face different problems no matter who you're facing with, like a different country, like if the person is a different nationality, a different race, different religion. I think how we educate our children continues to affect how they grow up and face issues in the bigger world. So if I could kind of get more into advocating towards children's education, I would love to do that. Also, especially towards like sex education and health and social education, because in Thailand, it's a very taboo subject to talk about these issues. So I have to be very careful when I bring it up to make sure that I'm not offending anyone, that people don't take it the wrong way. But I do think it is an issue that needs to be addressed, and it all comes down to how we educate our kids to look at the topic as a normal conversation, as a normal topic that we can bring up in a conversation with our parents or with our friends, rather than being scared to bring it up or being scared of how people will think if we bring it up. So I think having this platform, I want to be able to encourage people to acknowledge that health and social education and sex education needs to be addressed more often, and it needs to be taught in schools more regularly, so that we don't, I don't want to say it in a way like we don't get a lot of rape cases or unwanted pregnancies where children are left in orphanages, because in the end all of these occurrences affect us as humans as we grow up, and it does affect us emotionally and mentally, as our character grows and how we deal with situations with different people in our lives. So in the end, I think education is the base and the fundamental of everything. So if we can kind of get more into it than just providing people with the basic level of schooling, like math, English, everything of course is also important, but I feel like as our society grows faster and grows more, we need to incorporate more topics into our system before it's too late and people's mindsets are stuck to the past, when we need to start growing in the future. So yes.
Wow. Yeah. I hope it's something that you could also do. I mean, you could still continue to do more work for it even after your reign. I'm glad that the Miss Supranational organization has been allowing you to really showcase or promote all the things, the advocacies, or all those issues that are really close to your heart and put it out there in the limelight, so you will get more people to talk about it. More people will converse about it until we do something about it. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, Mr. National is already evolving. I like that. And someone here has a question. James Declar again has a question here. He says, Miss Supranational slogan is aspirational and inspirational. Can you explain more about it?
I think the most important thing with our slogan of being aspirational and inspirational is to be a person, or for example for me to be a representative of an organization that is not only inspirational towards other people, like the people who look at me as an inspiration, or people who follow us, but to also be a person of our own and to have aspirations to grow and to do good for other people. So I feel like they go hand in hand, but one is like how we choose to affect other people, and one is how we choose to affect ourselves in the best possible way.
Great answer. Yeah, affect people in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, I'm glad that Miss Supranational is really evolving more than just a great production or fashion show on an annual basis. So yeah, on to their 13th year, I like that they're already showing some, you know, some a little bit of difference in as to how they were before during its inception. So Miss Supranational is really unpredictable. Let's face it. I haven't covered the Miss Supranational pageant yet, so I really do not see what is the process like in terms of choosing its winners. And as I've said, it's really unpredictable and not much of a forte for the Philippines. So, what convinced you to finally hire a Filipino trainer for your international competition?
Um, to be honest, it was my Filipino trainer RL was introduced by the organization in Thailand, and I honestly didn't really know the whole process of that needed to go into being a beauty queen. I didn't know like it takes all of this work, all of this training, especially international training. So I was actually really grateful that RL was able to come to Thailand and help me like really in the
Mm.
best way.
Uh, yeah. I'm glad that there is someone like RL from the Philippines who was able to help you out when it comes to training for Miss Supranational. Since I've said earlier, Miss Supranational is something that is very unpredictable and not very much of a forte here in the Philippines. Because even though we already won one crown back in 2013, courtesy of Mutia Datul, but we really haven't we after that we haven't really mastered the formula because we were only getting into top 10, top 25. So what do you think is Miss Supranational looking for in a winner, and what does a Miss Supranational represent or its advocacy?
Honestly, my answer might not be like the actual answer of the organization, but from my own observation, I've noticed that Miss Supranational, they don't have like a prototype or a box that you have to fit in or any like checklist that you need to fill out. I think the most important thing that Miss Supranational looks for is who you are as a person, whether you're kind, if you're grounded and humble, how you approach different situations, how you react to different situations. It really focuses on who you are as a human being rather than, you know, whether you fit a prototype of what a beauty queen should or shouldn't be. And I think that's the reason why every year there is a different look, a different person as a title holder, because there's you can't you can be beautiful like my answer, right? Like you can be beautiful on the outside, but if you're not beautiful on the inside, it won't take you as far, right? So if you're
Yes.
beautiful inside and you're true to yourself, and all of these qualities that you have, it can clearly be seen on stage. It can be clearly seen during the 3 weeks of the competition, and I think that's the most important quality that this Miss Super organization looks for, rather than okay, we want person with this measurement, this height, like, yeah. Oh, and also in terms of like advocacy, I feel like there's not one advocacy that the organization wants to follow, because every title holder is so different. We're so diverse and so unique from one another that they don't want us to all do the same thing, because we're not all passionate about the same things, right? So actually, it was the first question when they asked me after I won is, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do with your title?" And we will do anything that we can do to help you push you towards your goal. And that really opened my eyes, because I thought that, like you said, like I also thought there was one advocacy that they wanted to like push me towards, but it really depends on what the person, like the title holder, wants, and they're just really supportive as long as you're a
Mm.
good person and you're true to who you are.
Ooh, I learned something from you tonight. Yeah. So Miss Supranational doesn't really have that solid advocacy. They just allow the girls uh, to have their advocacies on their own, and once they win, they just allow these girls to continue on their respective advocacies.
Yeah, it's really
Mm.
more about supporting the advocacy of the title holder, because we work so hard to follow with our advocacy from the beginning of our national pageants that it wouldn't really be fair if they just told us to stop and do something else, right? So I think it's really all about support and really giving that platform to branch out and to reach more audience about your already existing advocacy.
I'm learning from you. Now I have a clearer, better idea about Miss Supranational. So, with what you said earlier, that you have to be beautiful inside as well as the outside. So, is it something that RL also taught you during your training with him?
RL definitely taught me that you can't you can't fake it. You can only fake it for a certain amount of time before they will know who you really are. So there's no point faking it at the beginning. But actually, one of the big things that RL has helped me with is my mindset and how to approach the pageant kind of, how do you say, like the pageant world, like how to answer my questions, like how to structure my thinking in a way that is clear and direct. Because when before I would answer my questions all over the place with all different branches to different stories and different this and this and this. But he has really helped me with like my mindset and how to be more clear and structured.
So let's call him in. Let's bring him in this
Yes.
conversation to get to know how he trained you during before Miss Supranational for the Miss Supranational contest last year. Here he is joining us
All
all
right.
the way
So
from Manila as well. Here is RL Lacanienta, head of RLS Angels. Hi RL, how are you? Good evening.
Hi, hello everybody. Good evening, Adam. Good evening, Antonia. Oh my God,